Welcome back to Capital Connection. We're live here at the NATO headquarters in Brussels, Belgium, where just a few hours from now, world leaders belonging to the NATO alliance will all gather here. And one of the big questions, of course, is going to be what kind of U.S. president will be here to greet them. The question, of course, going forward is, which political narrative is this really going to, or is really going to play out here? One of them, of course, is the one we've heard for months now, the concern amongst NATO allies, the concern amongst EU leaders that this is a president that isn't really listening to them, that has really, blocked them from that traditional alliance that they've had with previous presidents. And of course, there's the opposing narrative that we hear so much from the White House and certainly from folks on the ground here, Americans who are saying, hey, listen, yes, there was tough talk from the president, but at the end of the day, there seems to be movement as a result of that. So can that be a bad thing? One of the questions I asked Kay Bailey Hutchison, the U.S. ambassador to NATO, was actually about Turkey. Because remember last year when we were gathered here in Brussels, there were a lot of concerns about Turkey moving closer to Vladimir Putin and Russia. Let's listen into what she had to say.
We are worried. We are definitely worried. But we want Turkey to be a democracy, to stay as a rule of law country, and we are concerned about some of the things we see. We're concerned about some of the issues between certainly the U.S. and Turkey, but also we are very worried about this S-400 that Turkey says they are going to buy from Russia. That would be a terrible blow because it will affect the interoperability of our NATO airplanes, our NATO equipment. We can't have a Russian missile defense and then be able to share and have the interoperability that we have had with Turkey. So we have a lot of issues with Turkey. We are a strong supporter of Turkey, and we hope that Turkey will go away from Russia and stay the very strong member of NATO that they have been.
What would you be willing to give to make sure that that happens?
A Patriot missile defense, but others as well. I mean, there are other missile defense systems, and that was a joke, but there are other missile defense systems that can work just as well in the time frame that Turkey is looking for that would be interoperable with NATO. And as a good and strong ally, they must have that interoperability. So we're working with them very hard.
You remember, of course, last week when I spoke with the NATO Secretary General, he was essentially saying to me, there are many threats that we see to the NATO alliance. There isn't just one. Of course, one of them, I asked him, is there a threat from within in terms of finding or figuring out these disagreements between NATO allies? One of them, of course, as Kay Bailey Hutchison mentioned, was this, missile defense system from the Russians. And Turkey's now looking closer to the Russians, and that's very, very concerning. The question, of course, going forward is what kind of actual progress are they going to make over the next 2 days? Last year, not much got done. There was a great big photo op, as you'll remember, Nancy, but not much really got accomplished. So, the question is what will actually move the dial forward this time around? And frankly, given the president's comments and Donald Tusk's comments, it's anybody's guess.
Yes, Hadley. Well, certainly I can imagine President Trump wants to come home with at least some firm promise for the other NATO members to pick up spending.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.